So let's kind of stick with basketball, but let's go to the NBA. And in the Lakers, there was Magic Johnson that resigned. And what was the thing behind his resignation?
Anybody who knows me knows that I'm a huge Laker fan.
You are?
I'm a huge Laker fan. Yes,
Really?
just for the record.
Oh,
anyways, I lost all respect for Magic Johnson.
Are you serious?
I did.
Just
I lost all respect for him.
Why?
I think he's a coward
For wanting to be happy?
because because he knew what he was getting into, and he spoke a lot, and he hyped himself up a lot, and he did a lot of things that were contradictory to what he did. I mean, he could have gone in there and spoken to ownership and said, you know what, this is not for me. Some of his statements that he made were just, ridiculous about, I want to be happy and like this is too much work.
And what about what he said about the backstabbing? What is he talking about? I don't know what he's talking about.
Well, he said he had all control.
You're a Lakers insider. He talked about backstabbing.
Yeah, he said he had all control. I mean,
What was he talking about?
I mean, you never know. I mean, I'm thinking they have that in house and they're handling that in house, but I mean, just the way he did it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I would boo him if he went back to the Lakers. He went back to Staples Center.
You have to think of him. He has a virus, right? He has a virus that stress would not be a good thing for him. So maybe he looked at that side of it and said, medically, stress is not a good thing for me.
And I thought about it, but what are you getting into? Then then he shouldn't have made the commitment, Dave.
Yeah, no, I agree.
The thing is, you don't know what you're getting into. When you're
you're
in a job and you are actually affecting people's lives by having to take their job away, you really think twice about it. No matter how hard you think
don't want to fire Luke Walton.
You don't want to.
But Luke Walton's gonna get fired anyway.
Well, but not by him. He didn't want to be that guy.
We were talking. We said, how long did he last as a coach?
16 games.
16 games. So he already had a track record. And then how long did he last as? Wasn't he a talk show host?
The Magic Show.
3 shows?
The Magic Show. I don't know how long it lasted, but I mean,
that one may have been just canceled. But I mean, but he canceled. He just resigned as coach, and now he resigns here. I mean, he just
and there was a good thing going, but I also believe that having LeBron made these changes. LeBron has too much power. LeBron has too much power, even though at the beginning Gilbert never thought that, oh, he's going to go to the Lakers. Not at the Lakers. He's not going to make any moves with Magic and Jeannie Buzz and this and that. Jeannie Buzz? Jeannie Buzz? Okay. So, and I thought, no, he has this power. He has this power. He wanted more shooters. He wanted, so they traded off. They made some very bad trades lately.
The team was handpicked pretty much from LeBron. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. Those guys were handpicked by him because
he didn't pick all those young guys that were starters.
No, not those guys, but the free agents that he got, where everybody said they should have gotten shooters. He wanted JaVale McGee. He wanted Lance. What's his name? Lance
Stevenson.
Lance Stevenson and those guys.
But those guys aren't aren't even starters.
Well, when the
main guys, he didn't bring.
But when the injuries,
got Rondo, and Rondo had to start.
But when the injuries happen, you have to rely on these vets, and they didn't come through either. And I think Magic Johnson panicked at the end, because then he wanted to fix it, and he didn't know how, and he traded away one of his best young players, which is Kuzma, for a shooter. Zubac. I'm sorry, for Zubac, for a shooter that can't even hit a free throw.
Yeah.
And I think those moves came back to bite him in the behind.
What do you think?
I think that LeBron making all these changes and having so much power is not necessarily a bad thing. We don't know yet. Let's see what happens after the season. Let's see who they get because of LeBron, and then we can see it was a good move or a bad move.
But was them trying to get the big trade that they were going for LeBron's doing?
I'm pretty sure it was, but wouldn't anybody make that? Wouldn't anybody want to make that trade?
But how do you do that in alienating the whole team?
You gotta go out for the what I thought was the second best player in the NBA. You gotta make that. You gotta risk that.
Yeah, but I think that you come off as a phony where you're embracing these young guys and you're telling them that they're the future and that they're next, and then all of a sudden, you know what, get out of here because I want to get somebody else in. And I mean, you have to put yourself in their position in the way that they react to it, where they have their whole lives invested in that organization. All of a sudden, first you tell me that we're the future. Now you're telling me that we're gone. I mean, it messes up chemistry.
Well, you got to be real with yourself also. If you're one of those young guys, you got to be real with yourself. Are you going to compare yourself to Anthony Davis?
No, you're not. But it is a business. It is a business, but they're young. and these young guys aren't veterans where they understand that it's a business totally.
Now,
And who is the player? Russell, right? In his fourth, fifth year now, he's averaging double.
D'Angelo Russell. You see, that's
D'Angelo
another
Russell.
move. That was not LeBron's move. That was Magic's move.
But that was actually a good move.
Oh.
I thought it was a good move because the previous management, they had ruined their whole cap by signing Mozgov and Luol Deng to ridiculous contracts where they could not sign anybody. Their only way out was to sign D'Angelo Russell, who was coming off the snitch controversy, and they had to get rid of him. And when they got rid of him, they didn't do that bad because they actually got Kyle Kuzma and Hart. You know, so in order to get rid of those contracts and sign LeBron, they had to get rid of that, D'Angelo Russell. You know, who was a bad fit for the locker room in the first place.
So they had to throw him into the trade so that somebody could take the two big contracts.
Yes. I don't have anything. I don't think there's anything wrong with that trade. But there was other things that I think that he did, like the off season. That team was not built to win when the injuries accumulated.
yeah, that's true.
There's only three people that I think that can save the Lakers right now off the top of my head that I can just
Kawhi.
think of. No, I'm sorry. I'm like
GM.
as far as GM, well, president actually, because they have a GM. I don't know if they're going to get rid of him or not. But that's Jerry West, Pat Riley, or Mike Krzyzewski. I think those are the only three guys that they can bring in.
And who do you think is the favorite to come get?
I think they're going to go for the logo because I think he's the best GM president ever.
There he was.
But Pat Riley's not, chopped liver.
Do you think Riley would come back though?
I don't know, because the only reason I think that they have a chance to get him is because look at Miami. They really don't have a future. They don't have any young stars. They just have a bunch of solid players that play hard. I think the Lakers have more of a, upside than Miami does.
So they have a chance to
finish his career over here.
I think they have a chance, but I don't know. I just don't know. And Mike Krzyzewski's a hell of a recruiter, and I think that the reason that maybe there's a slight chance that they can get him is because of all the rule changes with college basketball. How now he doesn't want to do the one and done. Maybe it's time for a change. Yeah. But like I said, I think that those are the only three people that I can see that can fix them immediately. There are other people.
There's no immediate fix.
I think there is.
There is because they have all the cap next year. They have all the cap next year.
I think it doesn't matter really who the GM is. I think there's going to be a couple, at least one star that's going to move to the Lakers next year in summer. Maybe two stars that are going to go. And that's going to be the difference.
The person that they take in cannot be listening to LeBron. It has to be a decision for the team by that one president, by the one
exactly
manager.
The figurehead, and that's why I'm saying.
Listen to anyone else.
And who better than Jerry West and Pat Riley?
Yeah.
Because
those
how did Pat Riley handle LeBron?
And on top of that, they're Laker guys.
How did Pat Riley handle LeBron in Miami?
They won two championships.
Did he listen to LeBron? He did.
He did.
He took John Jones and he took.
Yeah, but he did.
Took Mike Miller.
But actually, LeBron also left because of Pat Riley. Because he didn't want to accommodate to all his demands. Maybe he'll learn from that.
And what happened to the Heat after that?
What happened to the Dwayne Wade got a little bit older. Bosch had the heart problem.
They missed playoffs the year after.
Yeah, but it was.
So that's what happens.
But there's other variables.
But
there's other variables, and LeBron is at the stage of his career where he can't do those demands.
Well, he has a couple more years left.
He has 3 years left. It was a 4-year contract.
It's a 4-year contract.
So he has 3 years left.
But as a top 5 player,
so LeBron is worried about winning in these 3 years. So if they end up getting older players, they might do something in the second, third year.
Yeah.
But after that, these guys are going to be old. LeBron is already getting up there, and he doesn't play a full game.
No,
he doesn't play a full game.
And that's what I'm saying. He can't, and he doesn't have a no trade clause or anything like that. He cannot do the same demands as he did everywhere else, where he was signing 1-year contracts. He's locked in, so he's at the Lakers' mercy. So so it's not the same anymore.
We talk a lot about the Lakers here, don't we?
Yeah.
Well, they're always in the news.
They're always in the news. It's like the Cowboys, right? Remember, you mentioned something about a league. I didn't follow up on that, but something about a league starting up for NBA. For basketball players coming out of college or high school, going straight instead of going to college.
Yeah, I think they're going to start paying. They have the G League, which is the developmental league,
Right.
And then they're going to start paying those players a little bit more for the ones that don't want to go to college, and that's what goes back to these Big Ten college coaches. I don't think they like that, and it also goes back to college football, and that's why Nick Saban came out saying about these guys need to stay here a little bit longer and stuff like that, because the XFL is coming in and they have no age restriction.
The guys could go straight out of high school.
Yeah. So the guy. So for example, the player from Ohio State, the quarterback, he would have been the number one pick for the XFL, and they would have given him some big money.
Yeah.
So these Big Ten coaches like Nick Saban, I mean, they're panicking.
I can see that.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I can see that.
I think it's a good idea, though.
Do you
I think some of these guys are ready to be.
And it's a good idea because not everybody's really made for college, and a lot of these kids that were not made for college actually had people that would go to classes for them and do work for them.
But is it a good
and-
idea? I mean, because if you put one of these guys that they're 18 years old and they're not like, I mean, they're not ready
I think
physically.
for some it's a good
They're
idea
not
because some are
physically-
ready and some are risking injuries that are going to potentially cost them millions of dollars when they're wasting their time in college, not making any money at all for their families.
Yeah.
When the school's making tons of money off of them.
And I understand your point, but how many of those are gonna believe that they're ready and they come out and they get their back broken because they're just not physically ready, and that's where the XFL is taking advantage of that and saying, you know what, we'll take you, we'll
Yeah.
take you.
Well, if an XFL team thinks they're ready,
But if you think back to when you were in high school, I mean, were you ready to come out and make commitment to work year round, to really work hard at your craft and do all that? I mean, if you went to school, you committed to school, but if you're going to sports, are you really going to commit full-fledged into the sport?
It's a different.
Some kids are different.
It's a
Yes.
different sport, though. It's a different sport. With basketball, you can do it, but not in football.
But
I don't think you can come out as an 18-year-old and
No,
go play with
no,
these
no.
grown
In
men.
basketball, all these.
I mean, you're gonna
who
be
was it, like
paralyzed.
Malone,
Yeah.
Kobe, all of these guys, they must have been ready and they were very committed.
Well, not
So
all of
those
them.
are-
Kobe
those are
was not
special.
ready.
Those are
Kobe was
special.
not ready, but
But for the commitment, he was ready.
yes, for the
Yeah,
commitment, he was ready. But we're talking about where they're gonna throw you into the walls with these NFL teams. I mean, they're gonna
No.
break your back.
Yeah, football, it's a little. You have to be taking hits at 18 years old. You're not
Exactly.
ready. You're not fully developed.
Grown men in their their prime, they're 26-year-old. They're gonna knock your head off.
Yeah.
You know,
Somebody
XFL
that's
is
been-
the-
and that's a lawsuit
Some-
waiting to happen. So the NFL can't afford to say no age limit
No, not
You know.
not the NFL.
because they'll lose. They'll lose.
Yeah.
But I do think for basketball, it's a little easier.
Yeah, the
to
basketball,
go from
yeah, I
18 years
agree.
old, 18-year-old kids.
Right.
Some of them are ready to be playing.
Well, some are playing Europe already, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like,
Dante.
That kid.
Dante. 19, right?
Rookie of the year.
Yeah, I think Moody also he went to go straight to Europe. Also plays right now for the. I think he's New York Knicks.
Yeah, basketball.
Yeah,
I use some
there's
18
some
years.
there's some really good rookies there.
Zion could be in the NBA right now.
Well,
He wouldn't be the best player in the NBA right now, but
No,
he would
but
be.
he's
he'll
gonna
be
get
good.
there.
He'll be productive. Yeah.
yeah, he'll be productive, man. He's gonna be good.
What is he
gonna-
right now? 18.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
he's gonna be pretty good.
Yeah,
He's
he's
gonna
gonna
be pretty good.